All our lives, we've been told. Work hard.
Achieve. Get to the next level.
But sometimes, our best efforts fall short. We start to think maybe we don't have what it takes.
Or maybe we do.
Jesus took on the sins of the whole world. He conquered even death itself.
He invites us to follow him. He wants us to trust him.
And through him, through his body and blood, we are united in Jesus. And to each other.
Everything we're searching for.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
Our hopes and our dreams.
Points to the Father.
Who loves us unconditionally.
Who called us by name.
If you knew that receiving the Eucharist would change your life and change the world,
What will you do?
what would you do?
What would you do? Join us for the Year of the Eucharist.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
People from all over the Diocese of Springfield joined to March for Life. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have that story coming up.
I'm Steve Kiltonic here at Pope Francis Preparatory School, where this week's Chalice of Salvation Mass is being produced by students. I'll have the story of Pope Prep Productions.
And Dan Dumas has news from around the Diocese of Springfield. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. As the nation and the world continue to struggle with the long-range effects of the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, Catholics in Western Massachusetts have met the moment with increased contributions to the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal. Rebecca Drake now reports on the success of the appeal and the difference it makes in the lives of people in need.
The final figures for the 2022 Annual Catholic Appeal are in, and the news is good.
Rebecca, this is a very exciting year because we met our goal. For the first time in nearly 20 years, the generosity of the people of the diocese is overwhelming, and I'm so grateful to everyone for giving that little extra to send us over the goal.
Nearly 18,000 donors contributed to last year's appeal, bringing the total raised to more than $3 million. And there is another bit of news to report.
I would say the other piece of really good news is 64 parishes are getting rebates because they passed their goal. And it's impressive because so many of them were not on that list last year to receive rebates.
One of the parishes that exceeded its goal was St. Cecilia's in Wilbraham, where Bishop Byrne recently celebrated the Saturday 4 p.m. Mass. And he says it is no surprise that Catholics in Wilbraham and throughout the diocese increased their contributions to the appeal this year.
I think people acknowledge the good work and of the church here in Western Massachusetts, and I've been working hard to build us together as a family and as a community, and I really believe people are responding to that.
One of the agencies receiving funds from the appeal is Catholic Charities, whose clients are among those most affected by the dramatic rise in the cost of living this last year.
We rely upon the funds from ACA to really support our emergency services program. And our emergency services program is there for people who find themselves in crisis.
The most important statistic from last year's ACA may not be the amount of each contribution, but the faith that inspires the act of giving.
I think it brings a bit of empathy and maybe a realization that what little we do have, we are still called to share, and that in that sharing, there is the grace that we all are hoping to not only receive, but to share.
And when I give a talk, the first thing I say is, at the end of Mass, The priest or the deacon is going to say, "Go in peace to love and serve the Lord." It's your mission to actually leave Mass and go out and be the hands and feet of Christ.
What I've known and come to love about the people of the Diocese of Springfield, the people of Western Massachusetts, are their big hearts, their welcoming smiles that I receive everywhere, both for me and then more especially for my dog Zelly whenever we visit. I've also seen the incredible works and good things that people do in every one of our 79 parishes.
And here are some words of gratitude for the donors who helped the annual Catholic Appeal reach its goal.
If ever there was a time where your giving actually grew exponentially, it is when you give to the annual Catholic Appeal. So thank you to the donors, regardless of what you think you gave may not have been enough. It was enough.
My message to those who have given this year with such generosity would be simple. It would be thank you on behalf of our staff, on behalf of our clients, and I think as one, the chorus would be, God bless you.
My message is God bless you and thank you for all the good work that you've done and will continue to do.
Bringing God's love to the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. One prayer, one person, one gift at a time. For Real to Real, I'm Rebecca Drake.
And both this weekly news program and our televised Sunday Mass, The Chalice of Salvation, benefit from your generosity. Thank you so much. Well, earlier this week, hundreds witnessed for life in Springfield for the annual Mass and March for Life. This is the first march to be held since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And yet in Massachusetts, abortion is still legal. So those gathered prayed for a change of hearts. Carolee McGrath reports.
All who dwell in dark and sin.
Despite the rain and snow, hundreds turned out for the local Mass and March for Life at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield. This is the first March for Life since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade back in June. Bishop William Byrne told a touching story in his homily about a young woman he knew while he was chaplain at the University of Maryland. The bishop explained she had been drugged and raped but chose life, even though many people were surprised by her decision. She gave the baby up for adoption, and several years later, the bishop celebrated the young woman's wedding.
And as I looked down, I saw a mom and a dad and a little boy. And I tried to figure out. And then Bridget looked at me and said, "That's him." They came and brought the gifts. They all gave Bridget a hug, making me cry. And that showed what a powerful statement. Even in the most difficult situation, Bridget chose life. And you know what else? She didn't do it alone. She had a whole community of people that walked with her.
Pope Francis Preparatory School in Springfield and Pro-Life of Pioneer Valley organize the event each year. John Anziano is the director of campus ministry at Pope Francis.
Because as we know, we are the voice for the unborn. And as we know, with everything that's been going on in the Supreme Court, with the changes in the law, it is so important right now that we do make our voices heard.
Leave behind your regrets and mistakes.
Students from Pope Francis led the music ministry. More than 175 youth were in attendance this year, including high school students from Pope and from St. Mary's in Westfield, and middle school students from St. Stan's in Chicopee, St. Mary's in Westfield, and St. Michael's Academy in Springfield. In addition, homeschoolers, teenagers from St. Cecilia's Youth Group, and students from Thomas Aquinas College in Northfield were present as well. St. Agnes Academy in Dalton and St. Mary's in Lee had planned to bring students, but canceled due to the snow in the Berkshires. And dozens of students from St. Mary's High School in Westfield also attended the National March for Life in Washington just a few days earlier. Julia Rubin, a member of the Respect Life Club at Pope, says she hopes people will realize that abortion is not a solution.
It hurts the mothers, it hurts the babies, it hurts the families. It breaks apart the mother from the inside out, right? Spiritually, mentally, physically, everything. And it's just, and as pro-lifers, we stand both for the mother and for the baby, so.
It's important for me to be here today because I really think that abortion is wrong and that people shouldn't just give up on their child so easily like that.
I believe that this movement, I should support it, and I feel like it's wrong to be using abortion and like killing children, because God's in everyone's hearts and that they should all be like have the chance to live.
Human life is precious and should be protected.
An emphasis was put on the local march this year because even though Roe v. Wade was overturned, abortion is still legal, especially in states like Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, Massachusetts has one of the most permissive abortion laws in the country, allowing abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy.
I mean, there are many states that are doing a great job of eradicating abortion, but we're not one of them. And so we need a day like today to keep telling people, keep talking, to walk the walk, you know, to continue to look at the services that we can offer and the ways that we can accompany mothers.
After Mass, the crowd left St. Michael's Cathedral, walking to Main Street around the Mass Mutual Center and back. The route was slightly shorter than last year due to the snow.
Life starts in the womb. And it's sad that America now has focused on destroying our very life source and life force before it even gets a chance to develop. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. And I come every year in order to make that point, that we've got to do something. And first it starts at the church. I'm a pastor, it starts there. And once we let them know at least you're doing something wrong, hopefully we'll get it right.
You give me everything. You give me everything.
Following the march, Pro-Life of Pioneer Valley provided a lunch for the participants who left renewed and ready to walk with women and to show them the love of Christ.
You give me everything I need.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And still to come on Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas has news from around the Diocese of Springfield. And Steve Kiltonick will highlight a unique club at Pope Francis Prep as we mark the start of Catholic Schools Week. It's all still ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio, and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
All our lives, we've been told.
Work hard.
Achieve. Get to the next level.
But sometimes, our best efforts fall short. We start to think maybe we don't have what it takes.
Or maybe we do.
Jesus took on the sins of the whole world. He conquered even death itself.
He invites us to follow him. He wants us to trust him.
And through him, through his body and blood, we are united in Jesus. And to each other.
Everything we're searching for.
Hail Mary, full of grace. Our hopes and our dreams.
Points to a Father.
Who loves us unconditionally.
Who called us by name.
If you knew that receiving the Eucharist would change your life and change the world,
What will you do?
what would you do?
What would you do? Join us for the Year of the Eucharist.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news briefs. Catholic schools here in Western Massachusetts and across the nation are celebrating Catholic Schools Week 2023. Since 1974, this week-long celebration focuses on the value Catholic education provides to young people, as well as its contributions to the church and local communities. The theme for National Catholic Schools Week 2023 is Catholic Schools, Faith, Excellence, Service. And just in time for Catholic Schools Week, the students at St. Agnes School in Dalton premiered a worship and praise music video in which they were featured by noted singer-songwriter Mary Verdi. Dave Martin has the story.
Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise.
Catholic singer and songwriter Mary Verdi has created a new music video for the song Every Praise, written by Hezekiah Walker, because it inspires offering love and thankfulness to God.
Everywhere you look, everyone you meet is a blessing. And so this particular song just kind of brings it into that message and reminds us, sing hallelujah every day. You can sing, you can dance, just praise God.
Verdi had the idea to include students from St. Agnes Academy in Dalton, utilizing some actual altar servers.
I liked when we all were having fun together, because that showed that we all love each other, and it's because we're all close to God.
Verdi wanted to represent every age group from the school and thought it was important to have students share what they are thankful for.
I enjoyed being able to participate and praise God with my friends in church, being up at the altar.
Father Christopher Malatesta, the pastor of St. Agnes Parish, hopes the video will show that Catholic schools have an abundance of fun and happiness. In Dalton, I'm David Martin.
Is to our God.
We dance because we care. That's the theme of the second annual Western Mass Charity Dance-a-thon, getting underway Friday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. to raise money for a good cause.
It's going to be fun. You're going to raise a lot of money.
After planning for nearly a year, the 2023 Western Mass Charity Dance-a-thon is less than a week away. 25 hours of dancing, games, and food. A huge party for high school and middle school students at the Youth Rec Center at 127 Holyoke Road in Westfield.
I kind of just showed up and just went with the flow, pretty much.
That's the way to do it.
The main focus of the dance-a-thon is the fundraising for 3 charities: Kev's Foundation, Rachel's Table, and Rick's Place. All 3 were chosen by the Youth Advisory Committee. Rachel's Table, added this year, is the 3rd grant recipient. Founded in 1992 to address hunger, food insecurity, and to reduce food waste in the Pioneer Valley, 6 days a week, volunteers collect food from 60 donors. Rachel's Table has also expanded to distribute surplus crops from farmers.
That was a surprise.
I didn't even see him come in when I was dancing. He just all of a sudden was there.
Boomer from the Thunderbirds stopped in for a visit last year. And just as there was a place for the big bird to rest, dancers can take a nap away from the dance floor, or refuel with free food, or take on friends in a variety of games like ping pong. It's not too late to register or donate by going online to wmcd.org, or stop by anytime on Saturday to watch the fun. And you could read more on these and other stories at iobserve.org, where you can find articles from our Catholic communication staff, as well as on-demand episodes of Reel to Reel. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Reel to Reel news briefs.
This upcoming week marks Catholic Schools Week, celebrating the benefits of a Catholic school education. One of the many clubs offered at Pope Francis Prep School in Springfield is Pope Prep Productions, which is very familiar to students during the school year whenever an event is scheduled that merits a video. All of their productions can be found on their own YouTube channel. This past week, the group stepped out of their usual comfort zone to put together their very first Chalice of Salvation Mass. Steve Piltonic reports.
It's 7:20 a.m. at Pope Francis Preparatory School. Inside, the Pope Prep production crew is preparing the daily morning announcements, which are just one of the many events they produce throughout the academic year. Daryl Jeffrey is the school's director of technology who oversees the group.
Pope Prep Productions came about mainly as a result of COVID. We needed a way to get all of our events out to the masses. So we learned how to broadcast on YouTube, starting with just one camera and a single person just reading the announcements, and it grew into multiple cameras, multiple people, scripts, and having graphics as well.
Any student can join the club. All one needs is an interest and desire to learn. Everything produced at Pope Prep Productions, whether it's on site or in the field, is student-run.
All of the productions that we do, I try to have very little to do with it. I'm basically the adult in the room for most of what happens. I believe very much in learning by doing, so if someone shows an interest in doing something, I say, go ahead and try it. Try to do it. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Might also want to try an over-the-shoulder shot when they're doing the reading. I don't know how that would look. One of the philosophies that I have for this club is basically whatever happens was meant to happen. So there's no pressure on them. Whatever happens, that's the way God wanted it to go down, so that's what we do and we move on.
In addition to the announcements, Pope Prep Productions produces theater productions, student masses, and special events like graduation ceremonies and various music performances. Most of the home sporting events are covered, from soccer in the fall to basketball and hockey in winter to baseball, softball, and lacrosse in spring. They even broadcast many select away games. Senior Andrew Sarazina is the director of sports broadcasts. He started in the club as a junior after responding to a request Jeffrey made during a class.
He said, we got a game, I think it was on a Saturday, if anybody wants to come, and I was the only one crazy enough to show up. So I came and it sold me. I absolutely love doing it. So I'm like, let's take this and let's make it better. Let's make it better than just a camera on the field, and that's really what we've done.
The club made an investment earlier this year, adding a portable cart, desktop computer, bags, and other field equipment. The biggest challenge he and the production crew usually face is away games.
We don't always know where we're going to go and what we're going to be getting ourselves into, so we might not always have the resources we think we're going to have, power, Wi-Fi, whatever it may be, so it's always having to adapt and overcome. And I'm happy to say that I don't think there's been a game we haven't been able to do yet with any challenge that we faced.
A.J. Gonzalez is the voice of the Cardinals.
Trying to work it in for two, no, rim, rebound, and Martin takes it in and puts it in for two.
All the sports are live streamed and archived on the Pope Prep Productions YouTube channel. It's great for parents of athletes or alumni who want to catch a game but can't make it in person. Senior Chris Sitnick is the director of all productions in-house, as well as anything else around the building not related to sports. She started her sophomore year also after being hooked during a Jeffrey class.
One of the assignments was to show up and for at least 10 or so times and learn the different jobs. And then I kind of just kept going with it.
As the primary director, Sitnick spends a lot of time outside of classes trying to perfect her skills.
This is purely a hobby of mine. I find it so much fun to learn different things, to be able to try new things, to be able to use our equipment and be able to mess up and then go, well, how do I fix that, and learn how to fix it so I'm able to understand the technology more.
Good morning, Pope Francis. Please stand for prayer and pledge the flag. I now invite up Owen for prayer.
Isabella Clarkson Perez is one of the 10 hosts of the morning announcements, which are a hodgepodge of patriotism, prayer, and information.
Pope Francis will be collaborating with St. Mary's of Westfield to a blood drive challenge.
Students prepare scripts for the teleprompter, choose graphics, and run the board. Sitnick said morning announcements are by far the most challenging event she directs, in part because time is of the essence.
It's early in the morning, everyone's tired. We're all wanting to get everything done as fast as we can because we don't have as much time as we would a mass or a different event. I have from 7:20 until 7:50 to get everything done in time. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the day.
As with any live show, anything can go wrong during the broadcast.
Sometimes our equipment might just decide not to work one day, and we have to learn how to adapt and find different programs to use.
On this Wednesday morning, whatever happens was meant to happen, as Mr. Jeffrey would say when the screen between cuts goes black.
Today there was an issue, but we figured out what the issue was. We just hit the wrong button, and we were able to fix it.
That's all, Pope Francis. Have a splendid day.
As soon as the announcements are over, any glitches are an afterthought, and attention turns to the next broadcast. While the students produce their own masses during the year, this is their first venture at producing a Chalice of Salvation Mass. They showed they were up for the challenge.
Doing the Chalice of Salvation is something that we really wanted to do since we've been here. It's challenging to do something live, but most of the events that we do are live anyway.
Bishop William Byrne was the main celebrant at the Mass, which served as the kickoff to Catholic Schools Week.
Today we had a third camera, which we're not used to having, and our director, Chris Sitnick, really tried to take advantage of that to attempt to show the audience. We wanted to make sure that we followed the bishop as he moves around to do his homily. So Chris is very good at watching everything that's going on and trying to stay focused on getting the best shot.
Camera 1 and 2, follow him around. Henry, you're going to stay like that. Can you move more to your right, though?
Sitnick summarized her crew's first Chalice performance.
Everyone worked well. Everyone did great. I was very happy with how everyone behaved. It was just really nice. I liked that I was able to have 2 people per camera because they were able to switch off and receive communion, so that was really good. I was very happy that we had enough people to do all the jobs that were needed when they were needed.
At the request of Jeffrey, Sitnick and Sarah Zena have been asked to take more of a backseat role this year to groom Caleb Gilmet, a freshman who will be taking over the directing roles each has held for the past 2 years. While broadcasting doesn't figure prominently in the future plans of either seniors, both have enjoyed their time with Pope Prep Productions.
I would like to be a math teacher, so I'm kind of interested in seeing if I can get other kids, if I'm a teacher, if I can get other kids to enjoy it as much as I did when I was here.
I might do it as a recreation thing. I know the top school I'm looking at has a program for this, so I'm really excited. But my major, I'm looking to get into aviation technology. I want to be a pilot.
Both look forward to continuing their learning experience with Pope Prep Productions until graduation, when the baton will be passed to underclassmen who will follow in their footsteps. For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Be sure to tune in to WWLP TV 22 tomorrow morning for the full version of Pope Prep Productions' Chalice of Salvation at 10 a.m. And check out your local Catholic schools, as many will feature special events during the upcoming Catholic Schools Week. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. To keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, head over to iobserve.org, where we have it all for you. That's iobserve.org, and we are also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. I'll see you back here next week for Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Have a great week.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.